Frank Candles is a company that was started about 20 years ago, and it was started in the basement of the founder, Frank Whedon, who was an artist, and it kind of organically grew into a larger candle company. And we are known for both striped tapers, which are the long candles that you put, on your dining room table, and also pillars, which are kind of the short, fat ones. And they are an inlaid stripe, so that's kind of what we're known for, is that look. There's a lot of different ways to make candles. You can dip candles, which is kind of what most people are familiar with. Ours are done with a mold. And so kind of what our competitive advantage has been and what separates us from other people is, like I said, the stripe. Frank was a very dear friend of mine, and this company was his life. And about 3 years ago, sadly, Frank found out he had pancreatic cancer. And he only had a couple months that he was going to live. And it was kind of serendipitous. I was actually leaving to go on holiday with my family in London, and I left Frank a message to call him just to tell him how sorry I was that I heard. And I went to the airport. My flight was canceled, and so we had to come home. And when I came home, my phone was ringing, and it was Frank. I said, "What are you going to do with the candle company? Are you going to sell it?" And he said, "I don't want to look for sellers and go through that whole process." And he said, "Are you interested in the candle company?" And so I took my vacation, thought about it, came back, and I took over the day I got back from vacation. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I just, I love it. I love the marketing aspect of it. I love coming up with the new colors. I love talking to customers. And so it's been a joy to come to work every day, and not a lot of people can say that. I feel lucky that I get to say this is my job. Frank, the founder of the company, he loved Trenton, and he, was really interested in the history of Trenton, because Trenton was a huge manufacturing hub. There's that famous bridge that says, "Trenton makes and the world takes," right? And this is where things were made. And the city has kind of fallen into a state of despair. It is not what it used to be. And so there was this effort amongst Frank and the landlord of this building to kind of bring manufacturing back to the city. It would help the city. It would bring, jobs here. It would clean it up a little bit. And so they were pretty successful in that. There's a lot more to do, but that's why it was started here originally. And it's really a fascinating city with a lot of history. So we'll stay here. It's a good place for us. I think there's a really big push these days for things made locally by local artisans, and local labor, hiring local labor, and not outsourcing to China. I think there's a certain level of quality is lost when that's done. And when I tell people, listen, we have a factory right in Trenton, and the local artisans making these candles that are mostly handmade, and we only hire local labor, that means something. I think it's important to people, and it shows in the quality of the candles.